So this word is being spoken for each one. And if there's any place or any person that you would like included, just think of that place, that person right now. You can say it out loud. You can post it in the chat. Know that this word is also for them. Okay. There is only one life. That life is God's life. And God's life is infinitely intelligent. It is whatever this universe is, and whatever that has caused this universe into being as an expression. That is what God is. It is all. It's a definition, and there are many definitions, but this one, that God is all, God is the cause, God is the creator, God is the creation, is recognized right now. And because this is recognized, it is recognized that there is an infinite intelligence everywhere present, and that it always causes creation into being that is in harmony, that is in peace, where there is an organic, natural interrelationship with every form within this creation, this universe, with everything else. That there is a divinely designated place for each specific form of creation to dwell and inhabit and be in harmony and peace with everything else. And this includes the fact that everything is moving. So this place where each one dwells is not a physical location, because that really doesn't exist, because everything is moving. As soon as a particular physical location is identified, it already is not there. And so even though it seems as if there is a specific location to cling to, or there is a specific condition that one can be stuck in or imprisoned in, it's not the truth, because each aspect of creation is already moved from whatever moment, whatever spot has been. So this one life, this universe, everything in it, this cause, knows harmony, peace, and balance, and how to create it anywhere and everywhere, always, continuously, in each and every nano moment to the next. Everything in the universe is moving, and yet maintained in harmony and in peace. This is the activity of love. This is the activity of wisdom. It is the activity of something that wants to express itself in freedom and in joy. It is something that wants to relate to itself in form, and has created a world experience where each and every expression can interrelate with everything else in harmony and in peace. And that the intention of the creation of all these relationships is to experience the joy of interacting with itself. That the purpose of all relationships is to enjoy the interaction of life with itself. And each one is here, an expression of life being given the purpose and the ways and the means to interact with each and every other one in harmony and peace and in joy, and within the interaction to discover the joy of unique expression of oneself, the joy of others' unique expression, and the realization and the grounding that with all this unique expression, we are one. One mind, one life, one heart, uniquely expressing itself in infinite variety, and yet each and every bit of that variety in harmony with everything else. Harmony is a divine quality and essence. It exists everywhere and always. And any belief that harmony is not present, any seeing or believing in conflict, in trouble, in struggle, all belief in competition and one thing being in someone else's spot is all revealed now to be a complete and total lie. And so all human behavior of arguing, fighting, all need to make everybody else behave a certain way so one can know peace, all of that, those beliefs and conclusions and behaviors that are based upon separation and not oneness, is all erased, evaporated, and vanished. The divine universal body knows only good for all and every single aspect of itself. And so the highest and the greatest good of all exists and is the intention of this universal creator, even in humanity. And so there is a way that is present right now in this universal mind for each and every human being to dwell in that divinely created space in peace and harmony and joyous interaction with everyone else in freedom, in love, and in delight. This exists in the infinite mind. These spaces in the infinite mind exist. And its divine guidance is now guiding each one to recognize that space. It is a place of thought. It is a place of being. It is a place of loving harmony. It is a place where, yes, physical movement and activity in time and space occurs, but that consciousness of being in heaven, being in that universal peace, is right where each one is and is guiding each one in their interaction with each and every other beloved creation of the divine. And so each one is knowing that this harmony exists. And so all appearance to the contrary, all confusion in the human race, as well as any inner argument, turmoil, complaining, yak, and negativity, it is all by this word erased, evaporated, vanished. There is no stress on this divine system. It is one of peace, of harmony, and of effortless, easy flow of living from good to greater good. And this is where each one belongs. And this place exists for each one. And each one realizes that this place is accessed by consciousness, by choosing to know, I am that I am. I am harmony. I am peace. I am love. And by knowing that this universe is a friendly place, it is designed for its beloved creation to thrive and to express freely and to enjoy this gift of life. This day, this moment, this now, each one is right now in their universally perfect place, knowing that good is omnipresent and right here, right now, and that each one is here to enjoy living this life and to enjoy discovering how to interrelate with and relate with each and every other being in happy, new, healthy, wonderful ways. Each one now has that right of consciousness to know peace of mind. And every idea in the thinking of each one now finds its perfect place, so that within the all thinking of each one, there is peace, harmony, that beautiful universe of ideas within each one. There is no confusion. Everything is in its right place and beautifully relating with every other idea. Each one knows the perfect prioritization of these ideas in thought. Each one knows what is the truest, that which is the most ideal, that which is within each one's heart. Each one knows that that which is within each one's heart is the truest and comes first. And from that which is in this heart, the universal heart, all of the other ideas are organized clearly in their perfect places, so that peace rules, harmony rules, balance, love, joy, ease, grace, freedom rules. Each one knows who they are and knows all these thoughts are all perfectly wonderful thoughts to have, and that there is a divine order to them, where I am that I am is the lead thought. And from this lead thought, everything else is beautifully organized. So each one has clarity, crystal clarity. Each one knows who they are, knows what they're about, and knows the truth that this world around them and all the human beings and everything in it is merely an outpicturing of the universe of ideas within each one's consciousness. And because each one's universal organization of ideas within them are in harmony and peace, this outer world agrees. And so each one knows, because each one is friendly in their own thinking within their own selves, that this world is a friendly place, the universe is a friendly place, that people are wonderful, and that there is always a way for the highest and greatest good of all to be, and that each one's only thing to know, the only thing to do in each and every moment is to follow that inner guidance, which is there always, guiding each one to think and know that which is true to them, and then to expect and witness its revelation in the world. So this is the truth for each one, anywhere, everywhere. And I am grateful with this truth because of this clarity, because of this harmonious, happy organization of all these infinite ideas within. Each one is experiencing perfect health, loving relationships. Each one is fully supported by this life in all ways, including financially. Each one has infinite, wonderful opportunities, and the path forward for each one is clear. There is nothing in anyone's way in moving from good to greater good. This is truth. I am grateful that this is the truth. And I am grateful for this universal intelligence that knows how to figure all that out. And so I release this word to that universal intelligence, its loving law, to bring up into each one's conscious awareness, subjective acceptance, and experience this truth. And so I let it go, it's done, and so it is. And so it is. That's the way it is. Okay, so I've got Stephanie Ann. Oh, she's in Alabama. Okay, good to see you. All right, and Damaris, good to see you. Good morning, Alan. I knew more people would come. I'm so glad you're all here. What did I do? Okay, great. So let's move forward with our meeting. Oh, it's like home week. We have 3 people here we haven't seen for a while. 4, actually. Okay, good. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, Reverend Rich, take us away.
I am opening my heart is to receive. I am opening my heart is ready to receive. I am opening my heart is ready to receive.
So let's take a moment and, connect with our hearts, and whatever is there as a yearning, as a desire, as a need, as a passion, as a it's there. Let's not judge. And let's just accept it. And let's allow that loving presence, that infinite wisdom guide us through this meeting so that idea by idea, we receive all the good we desire. For this, we're already grateful. And so it is.
I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being of ourselves and the world. And it's spring. Oh, you can really tell it because outside the trees are gloriously in bloom, flowers all over the place. If you walk around outside, those fragrances as you walk past things, where's that flower? It's really quite something. So a couple of announcements to start out with. Now, this Wednesday night, Susan Neat does not have her class, the third Wednesday of the month. It's the fragrance, it's spring, it's getting to me. And next Sunday, we have this wonderful event here. We hope that you'll all use it as an opportunity to come and mingle with everyone. We will be in the parking lot or out back here. We'll have some food. It's a chance for us all to get together after the service. And you might want to use that as the opportunity to start coming back. We mingle safely here. We have chairs out and we are distanced. And so we would love to see you again. It's one of the things that's certainly been in my mind when I get up here to welcome people. I think of how it's like spring out there. My friends are starting to say, hey, let's get together for a meal. We've all been vaccinated. We all feel safe in ways that are appropriate. This afternoon, I'm going to a party. I have a friend who every New Year's Day for the last several years, she's made this wonderful party for this particular group of people. And of course, this year we couldn't have it. And so she's doing it this afternoon. And what's in my mind is very much that I don't want to go back to the old normal. I want to remember that being with people I love, people I care about, people I respect, is as holy a thing as anything else in my life, and maybe more, right? We think that, you come to a service like this, whether you come digitally or you're physically here, Sunday morning is the holy time. Well, that's not what the science of mind teaches. It certainly is part of it, but we are always in a place of blessing if that's our consciousness. And that's the consciousness that I want to bring. I've recently been taking a class. Ernest Holmes wrote an extension study course in the science of mind for people during his lifetime who didn't live near LA where things were being taught. And so each week he would write something, and it's available. You can get it as a Kindle version. There's a hardcover version. So for those of us who've been around this teaching for a while, it's a new way of looking at it. But I found this really wonderful quote. And he writes, one of the first lessons we learn is to bless everything, to be grateful for everything, to gladly acknowledge the divine presence, not as something far away, but as something close and intimate. And so when I stand up here and do a welcome for the people who are physically here or people who are here digitally, that welcome is as holy for each one of us, for me giving it, for those of you receiving it, as anything else in your life, if that's your consciousness, if you bring your consciousness to it. So I just suggest come around next week to our little tailgating party. Make that your reason to start coming back and joining with others in safe ways, right? And or join us digitally as you may have been doing. And just remember, if you bring your consciousness with you, if you bring the consciousness of joy and of loving, that's a spiritual act. And that's what we're all about. So welcome again. I really hope I'm having, a lot of joy seeing new faces that we haven't seen for over a year. Hi, Regina. For over a year. It's really joyful. And I'm learning to let myself be with that joy. I don't want to go back to, this is what we do. I have lunch with this friend. I go here and all this kind of stuff. It's special if I make it special in my consciousness. So thanks again for joining us. Welcome.
So it's spring. And this song's in Spanish. My apologies to Spanish speakers ahead of time. It's all about the colors of spring, de colores. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los parajitos que ven de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo como él quiere. La gallina con el cara. Los pollitos con el pío. Y por estos los grandes amores me gustan a mí. Y por estos los grandes amores me gustan a mí. Y por estos los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Good morning. I'm seeing myself on the other side. I've been on the other side of this, so this is very interesting. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm thinking of this as a re-entry point. I'm re-entering, and I've been doing re-entering. It's like sticking your toe into the ocean, seeing how cold it is, and that type of thing. So I've been doing that. I saw my mom for the first time in over a year, several times, and my sister. I've gone to a small family gathering for Mother's Day, so that was really interesting. And I went to lunch with a friend yesterday. So, this is a part of my re-entering. So, I was meditating yesterday morning, and I had some anxiety, I'll call it, about, seeing folks that I haven't seen in over a year, and and moving out of my bubble that I've been in. And of course, you know, with the spiritual consciousness that's always present, um, Spirit said, "Why don't you read this?" So I read it. I had to write down because I didn't know how nervous I was going to be here. And so I did a writing, and I call it acceptance. Acceptance. So here goes. My beloved mentee, Stephanie Ann, gave me a book for my birthday titled Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol K. Truman. I have been reading it, opening to sections, feeling guided to pursue it in this manner, allowing divine guidance to take me to the sections that are mine to read for the day. Yesterday, Spirit is like, you build a relationship with Spirit because you're going to have some fun. Yesterday, I opened up the chapter on getting along with others. What is this about? I wondered, what am I to know about this topic? So I read, quote, one of the largest contributing factors to your ability to freely enjoy other people depends upon how much you enjoy yourself, and self is capitalized. How much you are able to accept yourself. Again, self is capitalized. Of course, this sparked my curiosity. The author states, acceptance means actually honoring yourself as you are now. Okay, so here it is. I have not physically been to services for over a year. I have been thinking about it from an ego point of view. No one has seen me except on video, which is from the chest up, and the partial view of me is carefully crafted in a lovely way. Now, face to face, on live camera, right? Where's my part? And in front of others, I am presenting myself. Is this the point of the passage I was reading? In some consciousness alignment beckoning me? Of course it is. As the author said, how much you are able to accept yourself. Sarcastically, I thank God for this revelation, knowing it is on point. I also know that this message is for all of us today, since I am the day's practitioner of the day. There is always a message for us to direct each of us in right thinking. That is why I am here today and why you are here today, including those who are viewing this meditation online. I also know it is more than about appearances. Well, I did have to check to see what I fit in, right? Let's be real. I personally, genuinely enjoyed participating in service online with my slippers on, right? In pajamas, right? I like the comfort of home. I like posting in the chat. I also like being home during the week. I found joy in the change. I did miss a lot, especially being with my family and friends and all of you. That has been tough. But a way was made clear to stay connected. Who would have known my 88-year-old mom was a tech geek? Being home was a gift this experience brought to me. I was home after decades of traveling. I really got a chance to appreciate my home, caring for my home, enjoying my home, being grateful for my home. There were other opportunities that presented themselves to me which utilized my technological and project management skills, all because I was home. And we all were home. This experience, as the author stated, is about my ability to freely enjoy myself. Acceptance is actually honoring yourself as you are. And I'll add where you are in this experience called life. So, as we meditate on acceptance of self, let us not overlook the many avenues in acceptance. Acceptance of self has spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical components. Explore them all and be enlightened and accepting of what you find. Affirm with me, and so repeat after me. I accept myself.
I accept myself
In all my glory
in all my glory
and in all my discovery
and in all my discovery
of what acceptance means to me.
of what acceptance means to me.
It means I am the joy,
It means I am the joy,
the peace,
the peace,
the beauty,
the beauty,
the power,
the power,
the light,
the light,
the life,
the life,
and the love
and the love
embodied within me by the divine.
embodied within me by the divine.
And it is good.
And it is good.
This is truth,
This is true.
and it has set me free.
And it has set me free.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
so for a very brief spiritual mind treatment to everyone, knowing and acknowledging Spirit Divine and all that it is and all that it has embodied within each of us, knowing that it is in us, as us, and of us, so therefore unfolding into this experience called life is acceptance of the self that was created by this divine intelligence. Each of us is the self on purpose, and we allow self to be here freely. We are grateful, we are knowledgeable, and we are in love with self. This is the law. This is the word. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. So, my songwriting partner and I, Jean Marie Zone, wrote this tune. I did it here before, and I keep hoping that there's going to come a time when we won't have to sing this song. You know, when it becomes unthinkable for someone to shoot a rocket or drop a bomb or fire a gun, that you know, all the myriad ways of resolving things don't involve that stuff. So we, you know, I have to sing it again. Peace has to come from within. Any other thought would be a sin. No matter where you're going, no matter where you've been, the whole sense of peace lies within. Politicians talk about peace in our time. The truth is it's really just a state of mind. You want to change the world and change the way you think. Every other method just keeps us on the brink. Don't need no greedy nation. Don't need no TV station. Don't need no ratification. Don't need no qualifications. It's now. It's now. It starts as a need that turns into a seed, that grows into a deed that can change the world. Can change the world. Not talking about tomorrow, that will just bring strife. Talk about just living with peace in your life. Don't need no greedy nation. Don't need no TV station. Don't need no ratification. Don't need no qualifications. It's now. It's now. Starts as a need that turns into a seed, that grows into a need that can change the world. Can change the world. Can change the world. Can change the world.
All right. Okay. I'm so excited. All these new people are here. I mean, not new, but it's like they're new. For us, they're new. I know. It's like anything new is good, right? Like Groundhog Day. Anything different is good. Okay. So we are moving forward and the world is opening up its rules. And we are taking possession of them. And I'm so glad Regina is here and dared to reveal herself to us. But it's so funny because I was thinking that old truism that when you are looking at me, whatever you think of me is not about me. It is what you think of yourself. So judge away, right? That's anyway. Okay, so that's it. All right. Enough said. So our topic today, I'm taking from Norman Vincent Peale. He wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, which is our teaching. He was friends with Dr. Raymond Charles Barker in New York City, and they used to, I believe, be drinking buddies. And so Raymond Charles Barker, teaching the science of mind teaching, shared a lot of these ideas with Norman Vincent Peale, and he wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, which is, mega seller out there in the world. But I came across this other little book that he wrote called The Amazing Results of Positive Thinking. And it's got lots of little, all these books that get donated to us, I'm like, oh, this looks good, right? Yeah, and his first chapter in this book is, Does Positive Thinking Always Work? And so I thought, that's a snappy title. So, does it? What is your answer? Does positive thinking always work? What is your gut answer to that?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yes, but not always positive. What was?
Know when I can absolutely have positive thinking every second of my life.
I'll let you know. Okay.
It always is what it is.
It always is what it is.
It is positive if it is. You always know by the outcome.
You'll, okay. So, all right. So we've got some discussion here. Okay. And that's really important because that's what this whole lesson is about. And I need this lesson. Does positive thinking always work? Yes. That's his answer. Yes. Yes. Now, I realize this is a rather bold statement. Okay, so he went on to say, and he says, he now has to have a whole chapter explaining, right? Right? Because he says, so often people don't really understand the nature of positive thinking. And here we go. A positive thinker does not refuse to recognize the negative. He refuses to dwell on it. That's what positive thinking is. So stuff happens, but a positive thinker is not going to dwell on the negative stuff that happens. And so then what does the positive thinker do? He says, positive thinking is a form of thought which habitually looks for the best results from any condition. He actually writes from the worst conditions. So stuff happens. There's lots of stuff we don't like. There's certainly a whole lot of stuff going on in the world right now that I personally do not agree with. And if the world would just run according to Karen, it would be so much nicer for me to live in. But the world is operating the way that it is. So life happens, stuff happens, and we realize with love that we're a part of this human race. It's a gift to be a part of the human race. It's a gift. And accepting the gift accepts what comes with it, which is the human race consciousness. If we didn't have the human race consciousness to start with, we'd have to, well, we wouldn't be able to participate with other humans. So we have to accept that we inherited the human race consciousness. But given that gift, we don't have to dwell in the same way that the human race dwells on things. We have a choice. Positive thinking is a choice. And we know that whenever we get some news or we get some situation, we came here this morning and apparently some wonderful people in the world had an absolutely wonderful celebration here last night. They had fun. They had flowers. They had children playing. They had beer. They were everywhere. Lots of beer, lots of food. It's in the floor. It's in the air. It's in the parking lot. Watch as you drive out. There's some bottles out there. And their party continues because they didn't take their stuff away. So we came here with this situation. And what do we do in our thinking with this situation? Well, Reverend Rich, he came here first, and his response was to make the best of it. So he got the mop out and he mopped the floor so we're not sticking to it. Thank you very much. And he pulled some extra trash out of the room so that we're not looking at it. Thank you very much. And yes, there was a cross. Apparently it was a First Holy Communion because my choice was to look at all their stuff. Yes, and it was Graham gave the child a beautiful little music box for their First Holy Communion with a lovely little note and a little pearl, looked like a little pearl earrings or something, really beautiful. So I'm sure they'll be back to get all that stuff, but apparently not now. So life happens, people do stuff. They had a wonderful time. And now what is our response? What is it that we choose to think? We have a choice. We can make the best out of it, or we can whine and complain about it. It can throw us off, or we can still figure out a way to do what we are here to do, as oh, what is his name? My Project Runway favorite, Tim Gunn. Thank you. I miss him so much. I haven't seen him for so long. We make it work. So positive thinking is taking the facts and making it work for our good, for our enjoyment. I was listening to this wonderful woman called the Tidy Tutor, and she's decided to support people in getting their stuff together. And her yesterday's talk was, she was outside and she was doing a little short little video, live video, and she said, enjoy yourself. It's a choice. Stuff happens, your house might be a wreck, but enjoy yourself. It's a choice. So positive thinkers realize stuff happens. We're not in denial, but we choose to think the best about it. We choose to think, how can we make it work? Years ago, I worked for a gentleman who was so successful, and I had the joy of having the office next to him, and I could really observe his behavior. And I really got to observe his behavior when I made a mistake, which I had calculated could potentially cost the company $40,000, which was roughly my salary for a year. And I'm thinking, And I knew, he was a snap decision maker. And I knew that once I told him this, it was very possible that the guards would come and lead me out of the building. So I actually organized my stuff in a way that I could pick it up on my way of being escorted out. I seriously did this before I went in and told him my mistake. So I got my life together and I took a deep breath and I did a spiritual mind treatment that the best and the highest, greatest good of all is done, even if it means I will be escorted out the building. Because we don't like to believe, right, that we've hurt or harmed someone or a company or anything, right? We don't like it. Positive thinking. No, I am a blessing to the world and I am a blessing to this company, and whatever is, it is. So I went into him and I said, okay, I may have erred in the advice I gave you, upon which you acted a couple of days ago. And it may be that we're liable for paying $40,000. And he picked up the phone, punched in the number, and got online with our lawyers. Blah, 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 blah. Can you figure this out? Thanks, bye. Anything else? It's like, no. Thank you very much. No, that's it. And I went back and I thought about it. He dealt with it. It was lousy news, and he dealt with it. And he didn't get the guidance to get rid of me. That who knows what that was about going on in his thought, but he dealt with it. And I made sure I never made a similar mistake again. So it was good for all involved. And then after all the lawyers got involved, there might have been $40,000 in legal fees, but we didn't have to pay that $40,000 I thought that we had exposed ourselves to. It all worked out. It all worked out. So that positive choice, which was, I made a mistake. What can I do? I got to admit it, prepare for the worst. Trust I will be guided. God's not going to, dump me in the street with all my, I'll hail a cab, bring my bag of junk in there and move on. But something else will come forward. I'll be guided. Something will happen. It'll turn out for the good. It'll turn out for the better. Just thinking those thoughts keeps you open to them. And that's the point he makes. He says this seeking the positive is a deliberate process and a matter of choice. We have to choose it. No matter what shows up, we might react. And then our next thought is, okay, then what do I do? This can be fixed. This can be handled. And what he points out, he gives a couple of stories of people who lose their jobs or whatever, and the anger and the resentment and the I want to prove that they're wrong and all that kind of thinking starts ruining the experience of living of the person. And it's not positive thinking, but it's also creating a worse negative experience in the person who's doing that. So they're ruining their own experience of life. And then he tells the story of this one guy who got fired from his job, who knows why. And he came to see Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who said, think positive or something like that, probably. And so he changed his approach and he started looking for the best in it and got his thinking rearranged so that he was able to have lunch with a friend of his that had been already arranged. And in that conversation with his friend, he was able to express his experience in terms of positive thinking. I got fired, but I know my value. I know something else is going to come up. I'm starting to, get some feelers out. I've got my resume out. I'm really looking forward to what my next employment is going to be. That's what he shared with his friend, who went back to his company and recommended him for a job opening in that company. Now, see, the friend didn't have to do that. And I'm thinking about myself, if I were the friend, and I have been the friend, right, where a good friend of mine loses their job, something horrible happens to them, and they've been negative, say, divorce seems to do that really well, right? Whatever. And they share that with me. And in loving compassion, I'm there. I understand. I see. I love you. Blah, blah. It'll work out. You give that emotional support. And then I've had other friends who come to me. This happened, but you know what? I've decided to move on with my life. I've really been thinking about how I might have made mistakes. And I know I'm going to do better. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to change what I need to change. And if I worked for a company that had a job opening that my friend would be a perfect fit for, would I recommend them? And that has happened to me. And I have hesitated to recommend someone who was whining and complaining and full of anger and blame about what happened to them. And I've enthusiastically recommended someone who's like, well, I'm going to move on. I'm going to be better next time. I've thought about it. I'm ready to take on something new. I'm like, okay. Because my recommendation reflects on me. And I'm not going to bring into my company, right? Even if I'm just an employee, I'm not going to bring in someone who's a whiner. What am I going to do that for? I don't want to be around it. I have enough problem with my own whining. I don't want to magnify it, right? So yeah. So this person, because they just got into a positive thinking atmosphere and spoke from it with a really good friend that they could have dumped all their junk on, they just decided to express it that way. That friend got them their next job. So positive thinking always works. And what the definition of working is, it makes your experience improved, better than it would have been if you had continued thinking negatively. It, first of all, improves your own personal experience. And second of all, it keeps you open. Well, what am I talking about somebody else? Years ago, I was working for a company, and on Friday they told me, we're going to fire the person above you. We're going to have you full time. That's our plan. I'm like, yippee. I had to buy a car. That night I went out, paid cash, all my savings for the car, because I'm going to have a job come Monday. I came in on Monday and they called me and they said, we've changed our mind. We're keeping him and we're letting you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I swear that happened. I swear. Thank God I was in this teaching. I'm like, okay. And I went into the ladies' room, my personal private prayer space. I had that little hissy moment. And then I'm like, wait a minute. God did not set me up. God does not set us up. And so it was God that scheduled them to tell me on Friday that they were going to hire me full time, because that would be the only way I would finally buy a car that I needed to buy. Because otherwise I would have delayed and blah, 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 blah. And I needed that car and I needed it now. And the best way for me to pay for it was cash. That's it. Shut up. You weren't meant to be here. The divine never had that plan. The divine scheduled all this just so that you could get your car. And there is a better job for you. God will not let you down. I just said that to myself. And I went, yeah. And I came out of that lady's room calm. And I went by the office of the gentleman who's not getting fired. And he was on speakerphone with a headhunter. And I was in such a good mood that I said, hey, that's for me. Transfer that call to me. He's like, okay, as soon as I'm done. Because he was planning on leaving too, but they didn't know that, whatever. And he did transfer that headhunter to me. If I hadn't said, hey, transfer that's for me, transfer that call to me. I mean, I had just gotten fired. It's positive thinking that got me in that light mood so that I could say happily, easily, transfer that call to me. He didn't know what happened. He didn't know that they were going to fire him on Friday and not fire him on Monday. And now he didn't know any of that. But I just said that. He sent me that call. Yes, that was my next job. I got hired from that headhunter. It was for me. Positive thinking in that instance for me kept me, first of all, I was in a better mood. Second of all, the opportunity was there and I was in a frame of mind that I could be open to it. That's what positive thinking does. So no matter what our situation is, or what the verdict is, or the diagnosis is, or situation is, no matter what the world is saying, the point that we want to realize is, yeah, and now how can I positively think about this to make myself better off than I would be if I agreed and whined and complained? All know how it feels to whine and complain. We think it feels good, right? Have a really good whine, right? But it doesn't. It's not as good as the birds are singing. Joel's here, Regina's here. It's not that. It's a different experience of living. And positive thinking is the only way to get it to us. Now, he says, okay, so lest you think that's it. Positive thinking is tough-mindedness. Here's the kicker. Positive thinking is able to transform us from cowards to heroes, from tender-minded to tough-minded individuals, from weak, negative, vacillating people to people of positive strength. Yes, it's able to do that, but it requires training and study and long perseverance. Ew. You have to be willing to work at it, sometimes for a long while. We have to go all out with it. I was listening to Tony Robbins and T. Harv Eker. They were giving free inspirational workshops online the past few days. And, it's free. I'm there. I think it was Harv Eker who said, here's the 3 secrets to life or success or something, or whatever he was selling. Number 1, society is designed to keep us mediocre. I thought, oh, okay. Number 2, everything in life is a choice. And number 3, for the rest of my life, I have to maintain a healthy mindset. For the rest of my life. That's the problem with positive thinking. I mean, that positive thinking that I had way back when they fired me is gone, right? That moment's gone. That's not going to help me now. It's the positive thinking that I'm doing right now that is needed. We got to stay with it for the rest of our lives. He says, the reason a lot of people do not get anywhere with positive thinking is that their faith is diluted. They water it down with timid little doubts. They do not dare to believe. But when you do believe, amazing results you will have. He says, positive thinking will work if you are willing to work at it. It is not an easy discipline. Who wants to hear this? I want to positively think. It's an easy discipline, right? It takes hard work and hard belief. It takes honest living and a strong desire to succeed. And you will need to keep working at it constantly. And just when you believe you have mastered it, you will have to develop it again. Oh, this is an exhausting news. No, it's not very positive, is it? It's like, what the heck is that? So he tells it, Tony Robbins then was telling a story about Mel Fisher. And so, Joel, you're going to have to help me with this. Mel Fisher was a diving shop person. He was from 1922 to 1998. And he was a treasure hunter, and he discovered the wreck of the Nuestra Senora de Atocha. 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 It was wrecked. It was a ship that was wrecked in 1622. And he spent 16 years looking for it. During this time, there was an incident where his son and daughter-in-law drowned. And he kept looking for it. 16 years looking for a treasure ship that had sunk in 1622 and no one else had been able to find. And what Tony Robbins said about this was, how did he do it? How did he do it? Number 1, he believed it was there. And number 2, he believed he could find it. And this was unwavering conviction. And there was a third point, but I forget. 16 years looking for something. And then when he finally got it, of course, the state of Florida decided, well, it's ours. You give us the treasure. And he took it to court and he won. So he won this treasure. And you can look them up on the internet. Wikipedia is what I did, whatever. So the thing is that we have within us that ability to stay with something. But in order to stay with it, we have to believe it's there. We have to have a conviction it's there. And so what I'm inviting us all to consider is developing a conviction that life is better if I think positively. Always. That life is better with positive thinking. And number 2, and I can always respond with positive thoughts. And then we have to keep at it. No matter what happens, no matter what kind of money we have or we don't have, no matter what kind of legal things are going on, no matter what kind of situations happen with our family members, our loved ones, no matter if the whole world shuts down because of, mass hysteria over, who knows what. So what to the positive thinker is the response? Yeah, I'll deal with it. And how can I deal with it? Oh, back to my boss who didn't fire me. In fact, that was the job that I got after I had gotten fired, was the job with a guy didn't fire me when I made that big mistake. So anyway, I've confused you all. But I watched him always deal with what came up with the question, how can I get around it? How can I fix it? How can I get what I want? He would ask that question. I listened to the Tidy Tutor talk about enjoying your life or just asking yourself the right question. And she said, instead of if you're overweight or something and you think, oh my gosh, putting yourself down, I have no willpower, I can't do it, no matter what I do, try, it doesn't work. And, the world is the way it is. If you ask the question, how can I lose weight and enjoy it? How can I enjoy taking off some weight? If you ask that question, you get a different answer than, oh God, what can I do? I'm hopeless. And so a positive thinker asks the questions. What's next? What can I do? How can I respond? How can I make this better? How can I think better about it? And we just accept. I love that Regina brought that word acceptance into the room. When we did our circle, she brought that word and I'm like, ooh, acceptance. Not acceptance of the negative. Yeah, it's there. We're not in denial. But acceptance of I can improve my experience of this. What can I do? How can I fix it? How can I respond? Is it something for me to do? Is it something for me to say? Is it none of my business? What is mine to do that can help, that can improve? And unfortunately, all these people, Norman Vincent Peale, Harv Eker, Tony Robbins, for the rest of our lives, the rest of our lives. You ready for that, Reverend Rich?
I say just try it for today. At this hour.
At this hour. Can you do it right now?
This moment.
This moment. Can you do it this moment? That's right. How do you deal with the rest of your life? One moment, this moment at a time, right? But also to really build that conviction and the next moment and the next moment, that it's always a choice, and your life, your experience, it may not be your goal achieved, right? Positive thinking might not achieve your specific goal that you have in mind. But positive thinking will get you closer to that goal than negative thinking will. And positive thinking, whether you will ever arrive at a particular goal or not, it will improve your enjoyment of life every step of the way. So there's no downside to positive thinking. There's no downside. I have a quote, which is on this paperweight. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And I've changed that quote for myself. I was writing my book yesterday and I saw that paperweight and I'm like, oh, no, here's the question. What would you do if you didn't care if you failed? I don't care. There's positive thinking for you. I don't care. What would I do if I didn't care whether I failed or not? What was that?
Invest in
Invest in Bitcoin. Yeah, so you might want to rethink that.
And then next before you do that,
Although I don't know, Susie Orman was recommending Bitcoin a couple of months ago, so I don't know what that's about. Yeah, so yeah, she was or is still. I don't know. I mean, she was really saying, get it right now, whatever. Okay. But anyway, look, positive thinking is I am intelligent enough to manage my money well. Now, what can I do to improve my portfolio? Even if it's only the money you have in your wallet at the moment. It's my portfolio, my financial portfolio. What can I do to maximize it, improve it? And then I also had somewhere, someone said, another great organizing person somewhere along the line said, what if you sat down and asked yourself the question, what can I do for the next 15 minutes to improve things around me right now? What could I do in the next 15 minutes? What can I do right now to improve my experience of this day? What can I do right now? What can I think right now? So we accept for the rest of our lives. And what we're going to do is start now building a habit of choosing to think the best, the positive, the who knows, there's always a way. There's always a way, which actually is a spiritual truth. There is always a way to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. There is a way. What is the way? Much better than there is no way, I'm stuck here, I'm going to sit here forever, right? You can tell the difference. There is no way, I'm stuck here forever. You're not moving. There is a way. What is the way? At least you've moved. Okay, enough said. The power of positive thinking always works. It requires us, however, to do it. That's a catch. All right. Having said that, Reverend Rich, take us away.
it's quite positive thinking. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. Landlord say your rent is late. You may have to litigate. Don't worry. Be happy. You may pick the wrong key to sing. Too low for you to bring it. Don't worry. Be happy. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no girl to make you smile, but don't worry. Be happy. When you worry, your face will frown. That will bring everybody else down. Don't worry. Be happy. Here's a little song I wrote. You may want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy.
All right. So let me do a spiritual mind treatment. So to help us with our positive thinking choice, right? Okay. So this word is being spoken for each one. Infinite mind knows all. It knows each one through and through, and it knows what is possible. It knows the way. For each one, no matter what their circumstance, their situation, their mood, or their habitual thinking pattern, that infinite mind knows how to bring to each one a conscious awareness that each one has a choice to think positively, and that making that choice will produce amazing results. And so each one is clearer, more confident, and more willing to make a choice that is more positive than any other from before. And in this moment and in every moment thereafter, each one is seeing the possibilities of goodness that are always present and aligning themselves in thinking about them. And as a result, each one is experiencing a life of wonderful, happy surprises. I am grateful that this is the truth. I release this word to the law. It's done. And together we agree by saying, and so it is. And that's the way it is. Take us out of here, Reverend Rich.
Get that reggae out of my head. Amen. 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 I said amen. Lay down. Amen. 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 Now a little higher.
And so it is. All right. Okay.